In this flow, we will explore how to initialize and manipulate an array variable in Power Automate. Arrays are versatile data structures that store multiple values in a single variable. They are commonly used to handle lists of data, such as collections of items or records that you need to process, append, or filter. We will guide you through the process of initializing an array, appending items, and removing items from the array. We'll also add compose actions at each step to debug and verify the state of the array as we manipulate it. This detailed guide will help you understand the fundamentals of working with arrays in Power Automate, as well as the best practices to follow when dealing with them. Initializing the flow. To start, create a new flow in Power Automate. Go to your Power Automate dashboard and click Create. Select Instant Cloud Flow to manually trigger the flow and name it Array Variable Manipulation Example. Choose Manually. Trigger a flow as the trigger for easy testing. Initializing an array variable. The first step in this flow is to initialize an array variable. Click the plus button and select Add an Action. Search for Initialize Variable and select it. Name the variable myArray. Set the type to Array. In the Value field, enter a few initial items. For example, apple, banana, cherry. This will create an array variable called myArray with 3 initial string values: apple, banana, and cherry. Best practice: initializing arrays. When initializing an array, it's a good practice to start with an empty array, if you plan to append values later in the flow. This keeps the array flexible and avoids hard-coding unnecessary data at the start. However, initializing with a predefined list is useful if you already know the items you need to process. Debugging the initial value. To verify the initial value of the array, we will use a compose action. Add a compose action to the flow. In the input field, select myArray from the dynamic content pane. Name this action Initial Array Value. This compose action will display the contents of myArray when the flow runs, allowing us to confirm that the array has been initialized correctly. Save and test the flow. When the flow finishes running, check the output of the initial array value action. You should see the array items, apple, banana, cherry, displayed. Appending an item to the array. Now we will append an item to the array. This is useful when you need to add new data dynamically to your array without replacing the existing values. To append an item to myArray, click the plus button and select Add an Action. Search for Append to Array variable and select it. In the Name field, choose myArray. In the Value field, enter the string orange to append the value orange to the array. Name this action Append Orange to Array. Best practice: appending to arrays. Appending to arrays is a common operation when you are collecting data dynamically throughout a flow. It's essential to use this action instead of resetting or reinitializing the array, as this ensures that all previous values remain intact. Debugging after append. To verify that the new item was added to the array, add another compose action. In the input field, select myArray. Name this action Array after append. Save and test the flow again. After running the flow, check the output of the array after append action. The array should now display apple, banana, cherry, orange, confirming that the value orange was successfully appended. Removing an item from the array. Next, we'll demonstrate how to remove an item from the array. Power Automate does not have a native action to directly remove an item from an array, so we will use a workaround with the filter array action to exclude the item we want to remove. To remove banana from the array, click the plus button and select Add an Action. Search for Filter Array and select it. In the From field, select My Array from the Dynamic Content pane. Under Condition, set the filter to exclude banana. In the first box, select Item. This represents each element in the array. In the second box, choose Is Not Equal To. In the third box, enter banana. This will create a filtered array excluding the value banana. To store the filtered array in a new variable, add another Initialize variable action. Name the variable filtered array. Set the type to array. In the Value field, select the output of the filter array action. Name the action Store Filtered Array. Best practice. Removing items from arrays. When removing items from an array, it's important to ensure that the filtering logic is accurate. Always test your flow to verify that the correct items are excluded or included based on your conditions. Debugging after remove. To check that the item was removed correctly, add another Compose action. In the Input field, select Filtered Array. Name this action Array After Removal. Save and test the flow. After execution, check the output of the Array After Removal action. The array should now display apple, cherry, orange, confirming that banana was successfully removed. Using the array in a condition arrays are often used in conjunction with conditions to perform actions based on whether an array contains certain values or is empty. Let's add a condition action to check if my array contains cherry. To add a condition, click the plus button and select Add an Action. Search for condition and select it. In the first box, select My Array from the Dynamic Content pane. Set the condition to Contains and enter cherry. In the If Yes branch, add a Compose action with the message Array contains cherry. In the If No branch, add a Compose action with the message Array does not contain cherry. Best practice: using arrays in conditions. Using arrays in conditions is useful when determining if a list contains specific values. This can help decide whether to proceed with certain actions. Make sure your conditions handle possible empty arrays or undefined values to avoid errors. Debugging the condition. To verify that the condition is working correctly, save the flow and test it. Once the flow completes, check which branch of the condition was triggered. If cherry is found in the array, the If Yes branch will be triggered, and you'll see the message, Array contains cherry. If cherry is not in the array, the If No branch will be triggered, and the message will display, Array does not contain cherry. Conclusion. In this flow, we covered the basics of initializing and manipulating an array variable in Power Automate. We demonstrated initializing an array with predefined values, appending new items to the array, removing specific items from the array using a filter, using the array in a condition to check for specific values. We also added compose actions throughout the flow to debug and track the state of the array at each step, which is crucial when working with dynamic data structures like arrays. By following best practices and using debugging steps, you can confidently work with arrays in Power Automate to manage lists of data in your automation workflows. This module is designed to help you master arrays and use them effectively in your flows, whether you're processing multiple items, filtering data, or checking for specific values.